Get over to Instagram too. So give it a second. Awesome. Yeah. Right. Sunday. I think we're there. It is.
Good
Get
morning.
the stream up and running. Hello, Rebecca. Rebecca's in the dark.
I am. I don't know why.
That's awesome. Well, welcome everyone. Another Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here. So this might be our last Sunday at 11. So we got we got a little mix of some East Coast time zones and some Central time zones. And I think Rebecca, you're Mountain Time, right? So you're
I'm West Coast. It's 8 a.m. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. So I did my hair, so I'm ready. But
so did I, and you can't even see me. This is horrible.
Yeah. It's you'll get it fixed. I just fired up a new, invested in the business a little yesterday with the encouragement from Brian. I went and dropped. I have a hard time spending money on myself. It's weird. I'll spend money on weird stuff or for but dropping money on a new good computer for me was tough. So I dropped on a Surface Pro 9, loaded up. So quality of the camera is already better. I'm happy for that.
Yep. Nice.
A little tired today, Brian and I am at least. We stayed. Sadiq kicked off his new Discord this week, right? So, and you're crushing it with members. But we all got in the chat last night, and Dave's here. Let's get Dave on in. And hey, Dave.
Oh, he's muted.
Yeah, that's all right. It was my audio last week, so it's okay. Yeah,
it's somebody else's turn.
Yeah.
We good now?
There he is. What's up?
Good morning.
Texas?
Morning. How are you guys?
Good, buddy.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we were just talking about Sadiq launched his Discord group this week, and Brian and I actually jumped in there last night, hung out in the chat, and we were just talking before the stream started. 4 hours went by with a blink of an eye.
Dude, I was spamming checkouts all night. I was just talking to like random people who were coming in and out, and I was in there for 4 hours after I hopped off. I'm like, there's no way it was 4 hours.
Is this a private Discord, or are we all invited?
You're all invited. I can drop the link in here too.
Yeah,
go for
that. I love Discord.
Yeah.
Are you a Discord junkie, Rebecca?
It's hard to stay focused when you're involved in so many different servers. Like you can spend your whole day just on Discord.
Yeah, I've said this before. That's the one platform I feel like a straight boomer when I
Come on, Dave.
It's so, to me, for my brain, for some reason, it's so overwhelming. Like there's stuff going on everywhere. I just got to sit down one day and just kind of.
You got to have ADHD brain for Discord for sure.
Yeah, I do, but I think they clash. Like I'm too scattered to have something that scattered, if that makes sense. I'm gonna get better.
I'll tell you, probably Brian. I think like Brian invited me into his Discord. He has a private Discord, and that was about a year ago, maybe. Brian, maybe more now.
Yeah, this was like we started the group January of last year, but we started it out as like a Facebook group chat, and it got too out of control to the point where it was like, we need to organize this. So,
and I was in a couple other. I was in a couple other Discords, and I didn't know what to do in them. Right, I was just kind of loitering, and then Brian invited me in his, which is very personable and close knit group. Almost, it's family kind of, and. So I'm right there with you, Dave. I wasn't turning off the group chat. Like I was leaving and not knowing that or sharing my screen. I'm literally doing banking. And Brian would send me a message going, we all see your checking account, Joe. I feel bad for you.
Typing in his checking account info. And I'm like, bro.
But I've become more proficient with time, and so will you, David. So.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we have hope.
I think you just have to turn off your notifications as well.
Yeah, turn off the 100% take off like all your notifications.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Joe made a mistake with that for a long time. He had all the notifications, and he'd be screen sharing with me, and it'd just be like bloop 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 bloop, and I'm like, Joe,
turn those off.
Joe.
Well, the worst part is I didn't know where they were. I didn't know where they were coming from.
Yeah.
So Brian and I are in another like private server Discord that he created, right, where we get alerts on stuff that's doing some bot monitoring.
Yeah, so you need those on.
Yeah, but I didn't know where they were coming. So for Brian goes, wait, do you have notifications turned on in this other? I'm like, I guess. I don't know. I just hear these noises all the time and they really annoy me. So Dave, we're right there with you. That's what I'm saying, man. We're in arms on this.
Awesome. Little by little, we'll get there.
Yeah.
The other day I joined one of your guys' voice chats and it just started like a bunch of people just started yelling. It's like, I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know what was happening. That was my first time on a voice chat. So, but I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, we've had some real good fun, a lot of good banter in them. And like I know like Sadiq's kicked off this week, and that last night was a lot of fun in there. It was like I've gone from going out to the bars and hanging out with to hanging out in a Discord with probably a good bunch of gentlemen and ladies that are probably half my age, if not more than half my age.
Well, it's like the new age party line, right? Remember?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Don't
just call in and whoever's on. Okay, so I won't age us. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's all right. You're gonna start charging by the minute when we
there
call
you
in
go.
1-888. Yeah.
There you go.
I used to use like Twitter Spaces for some of that stuff, which was good. I don't even know if that's still going on or
what's Twitter, Dave? What is Twitter?
I know that's true.
You mean X?
Sorry, I know. Life's just passing me by too fast. But.
Steven did join us over on my Instagram feed. It looks like he's awake. He's going skiing. Be safe out there. We got a few other folks joining in. Thanks for everyone for joining us today. But let's talk about, I don't know, really, we got past ASD. That was last week's kind of show where we talked about a little ASD. My microphone didn't work. Definitely on a better position today with my new computer. So Dave kind of ran the show for the first 10 minutes last week. I appreciate that with a few others. But how was your guys' week? I know, Sadiq, you've been crushing it. I mean, you've just been, you've just been on fire. That's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I had a really good week, really good month. Probably like 106,000 for the month so far.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah, Liz, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm jealous of your posts. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, it made me upset because I was supposed to do way, 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 way more because I had a shipment from New Jersey go to Cali, and it took like 10 days in transit, and then it took like another 10, 15 days to check in. And that's like $30K cost of goods minimum.
Yeah.
And I finally started checking it last night while we were in the VC.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So you'll still get it a little bit going. What is the date today? It's 24th. So you'll get some sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you. Brian, you've been all over the place. I know you've had a lot going on, and you've your 9 to 5 has been taking a lot more out of you too. And so you've been busy, and you're finding some amazing little secrets out there and deals. And I don't know. And Dave, I think, has spread a little RA love. Like he's sprinkled some RA dust on your head because you've been talking RA lately.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's like a drug. It's like a drug. Be careful.
I still can't figure it out. I don't know how you guys do it.
Well, I said the same thing about OA. I'm terrible.
Really? It's so much easier.
I would love, I mean, I think in theory, at least for me, it definitely seems easier. It makes total sense. Like not driving around like a maniac all around.
Yeah.
So I would love to be able to do that. I'm just really bad at it for some reason. So for me, it's either a couple, starting with off as a few wholesale accounts or RA, but I have just not, I don't know. And I know it's reps like anything else, but for some reason, I just cannot find anything that's profitable, which is like, it's almost heresy to say because everyone's like, well, just keep doing it. And they're right. But I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet.
Well, I think the big thing for OA is coupons and codes, because I said the same thing at first too. I was like, I don't understand how these people are making these things profitable. And it's just, you get your discount codes, you get your whatever % off, and then bam, all of a sudden it's profitable. And That's what made a big deal for me. For RA, I just feel like a weirdo at the store standing there and scanning everything because I feel like I'm in everybody's way. And it's like, I'll get there even at store open and there's like 20 other soccer moms there with me. And I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing here so early? Do I just throw everything in my basket and then like sneak a scan? I still feel like I'm going to get kicked out of the store. Like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable in OA and at home. You're just like, oh, you can spend as much time as you want on a site and nobody's going to say anything to you.
Yeah, honestly, initially I was the same way, but now I am just like shameless when it comes to that stuff. Like, I'm really, I'll skip every single
Do you
thing
put things? Yeah, you're like put them back. Here you go, ma'am. You can take this one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Or I'll be honest with you. Here's a great tip: is I use everybody else's excuses. Okay, so if somebody tells you like, "Oh wow, your kids really like cereal, huh?" Like, yep, sure do. Like if you have 80 boxes in there, or if they say like, "Oh wow, doing Christmas shopping early," like, yep, sure am. Like, and the only time that's really I really feel bad about that was when it's like, "Oh, is that for charity?"
When you left, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yep, it sure is. You know what I mean?
oh wow.
But they'll build in excuses for you, and then that way that you don't have to have a conversation. I don't have to stumble over what I'm doing. I just whatever they say, I agree to it, and they'll always offer up some kind of excuse. And normally,
They sure do.
yeah,
Yeah, and then you don't have to go prepared with your story. I usually make stories up.
exactly. And then mine, and when I realized that was a huge change for me because I used to try and do that, and I was like stumbling over my words, and I made no sense. And so now I just whatever they say, I agree with. Like, yep, sure am. Like, and that's work. That's worked for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I just tell people, I'm like, no, you might want to get it right now before I take it off. Yeah, you might want to get it now because if you look for it online, you're good. And then I've actually gathered a couple followers and people from that, like, what do you mean? And then next thing you know, their person with them is like, I was looking at doing the same thing, or I was interested in that. Next thing you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
And there's nothing that they can do, right? Like it's just kind of like frowned upon, but it's not really like a legal thing. They can't be like, oh, we refuse. They can't refuse service.
It's not frowned upon by everyone. It's just different. Yeah.
Most people, if they're smart, like store managers, they don't.
Yeah, they'll tell you, oh, you want, let me know what you need, and I'll let you know when we get it in. Yeah, because they want to make their numbers as well.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, they don't care where it's coming from. You know who's buying it.
Yeah, that's
doesn't matter to them at the end of the night. So, and if it does for some reason, like I'm pretty. I mean, that's the other thing. If there's like some, mom there that wants one of the things that I have, I mean, I'll give it like here, you can buy this. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna like just hoard it and be like, no, that's if they're really like. So that's the other part too, is I'm always agreeable to that. Like if somebody really wants something, and I've got 20 of them, like here, take one. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely for time and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to do less and less of it. But while I'm doing that, I'm trying to fill in the gaps with some RA stuff just to keep it rolling.
Sure. Yeah. While we're talking about RA, just quickly, I just found out that I don't know if you guys have Family Dollar stores in your area, but a lot of them are closing, and they said that the ones that changed their hours to close at 7 p.m. are the stores that are closing. So you guys can get in and get your 50% off or whatever the percent off is for their inventory.
Yeah, I went to one of those the other day. The sign.
Did you find one?
For it. Well, no, it said everything for $1 was the name of the store. It's big sign. It said everything for $1. I bought like 20 things. They charged me $20. Yeah, I was like, wait, I didn't even take everything, and you're charging me $20? I thought I could get everything for $1. I think this is quite unfair. False advertising. So, hey, we do have a question. We have a question over on from Instagram on my, I think. So, as a beginner, would you spend money on inventory or membership or mentorship? Mentorship. Sorry.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'll go if you don't mind.
Go, Dave.
Yeah, for me, it's figure it out yourself at first. Honestly, I think because if you do mentorship too early, you don't know what questions to ask, right? I think you have to have some trial and error yourself and get your butt kicked a little bit, and then be able to lean on somebody to ask the right questions. I think early on, it's a waste because you don't even know what questions to ask. I also think there's nothing like selling something to get the thing going, right? Whether it's, I might have said this before, but whether it's profitable or not, and again, it sounds crazy, it doesn't even matter. Like, just sell something. Even if you break even, you lose a buck or two, you know, you're going to get proof of concept. You're going to build confidence that you can actually do it. And then, and that just compounds. So I think for me, it's just sell something. Like, at the end of the day, I had somebody call me the other day about this. He was a younger guy, you know, wanting to get into it. And he had all these like softwares he had heard about and all this. I'm like, my man, just sell something. Don't, like, let's not waste all this money and all these things. You haven't sold one item. Just sell something first, you know? So to me, it builds on that, but everyone's a little different. That's my take.
You know, I'd say is, maybe this has changed over the last several years, but there's so much free information out there for mentorship.
Yep.
So you really could do a little both in the beginning, and just the free stuff, the knowledge that is out there compared to 2 years ago is just insane. So I would say suck in some of the free stuff as mentorship right away. And that's from YouTubes and the Instagram or Discords. Find a group that you kind of align with or feel more comfortable with, whether it's, you know, the personalities in there or the number of people. So there's your mentorship that costs nothing. Start there.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then
100%.
spend a little money, because you really don't learn sometimes until you lose a little or break even, or, you know, I was one of those people that my first item was sold crazy. I mean, my very first item, I didn't know what I was doing. Had been in some free stuff, but very little back then. It was still paid for on gating then, right? You were paying $300 plus for Nike on gating back in the day. And I put, I think, I can't remember the number. I tell the story before, but it's a few items in a Home Depot, and they were light bulbs, and I listed them FBM. By the time I hit my car, 2 of the 7, I think it was 7 items sold. By the time I hit the car, 2 sold. And then by the time I got home, they were all sold. What I realized, number one, is I had no idea what I was doing because I priced them way too low. I still made money, but very little. And I also thought, wow, this is really easy. And by the, you know, next thing I know, I'm buying 100 units of something RA. Price looked great. I knew nothing about Keepa. I really just didn't know what I was doing. It looked good that day, only that day. And then that price tanked on 100 units. And I, you know, ended up pretty much breaking even at the end of the day. But again, just doing it, you know what? That's how I learn. And then I really like, okay, I need to focus more on this or that.
Yeah. To your point, Joe, that's exactly, I'll be packing boxes, listening to podcasts every single time,
Yep.
YouTube shows as you're doing it. So I think a combination of that, like, don't pay for it yet, but you're right. Like, you know, consume as much free content as you possibly can while you're doing it, right? And learning and kind of learning your own way as well. So,
yeah, I agree. I would listen to all these podcasts, all the Buy Box Bandits, all the free Discords I was in. Like, I never paid for mentorship or anything. It was just free Discords, talking to other people, trying to figure out what works well, what doesn't, test a bunch myself. Like, I went from 0 to 100K a month. I was only 19 at the time, within 12 months, and I never paid for coaching or anything. It was just figuring it out as I go and talking to enough people. So you don't really need it. But I mean, if you want to fast track your way to like that success and you have the capital position to do it, assuming you have like some sales under your belt, I mean, it can't hurt.
Yeah, and I think definitely do your due diligence on which mentorship you take if you are going to spend your money. Because a lot of times you hear feedback from people saying, oh, I took this mentorship program and I want my money back. I wanted my money back. I wanted my money back. I feel like there was no value. It's not anybody that I can speak of, or I would never throw shade on anybody that's in that community, because they are doing, you know, they're doing a service for people, but it's sometimes the mentorship doesn't resonate with certain people and they just don't feel like that they got their value. So definitely do your research if you are going to join a mentorship program.
Yeah, it's a Lamborghini test, right? Like, or
yeah.
Yeah. If there's somebody sitting there flexing on a Lamborghini, whatever, it's probably not a fit. I don't know. Maybe it is for you. but if there's somebody sitting there and with boxes all around them, they've got a little more. To me, they got more credibility than the guy flexing that rented a Ferrari in Miami Beach. But
Exactly.
My Lamborghini represents as a Ford Explorer 2014. So
nice.
That's what it identifies as, a 2014 Ford Explorer. So
Joe's an Amazon killer.
Killer. So Casey over on Instagram. So talking about RA and people questioning you, why are you buying all those lotions? Right? So true. What are you doing with all that? Oh goodness. But yeah, I do love. I joke. In fact, I jumped on a live the other day where it was Chris Grant and someone, and they were talking about RA and kind of laughing about some of the items. Like next thing you know, we start. RA is fun to share items, across the board too. You can, because we're geographically located in different. Yeah, and that's kind of that fun, that hunt, and that.
I love it.
I do. I enjoy it. But I joke. I'm a full figure seller with an RA addiction. And that's my tagline, right? I mean, because I can't stop. And I think like sometime last year I said, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to focus on wholesale and brands. And next thing I know, what am I doing? I'm in the store.
Wait, so you still do RA?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I just crushed it on like a coffee product just a week ago. I walked by, there were, I think 38 cases of it, and everyone was just insane profit. I bought them all, brought them back to the warehouse. We FBM'd them, and they're boxed coffee, so literally throwing labels on them, K-cup type stuff, win, just a win. Like you can't say no to that.
Yeah. I think the thing that I also noticed too is doing OA the majority of the time. A lot of times it'll say this item is not available or out of stock. And then you'll go to your local store, the big box store that matches their online website. And it's in the store. It's there. It's the same price. It's available. And so one of the employees had told me, oh yeah, sometimes just some things we just won't let you order online for pickup or for whatever reason. And I'm thinking, do they know something that we don't know? Like maybe they're just getting a lot of interest online and they're not able to fulfill the inventory, or they just want to leave the price for the people that actually do come into the store. I don't know.
Well, I think a lot of those loss leaders, they want people the foot traffic, so they walk by another 100 items. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's the Costco.
The Costco chicken thing,
psychology, right? Or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Those
put it all the way in the back so everybody has to walk through the whole store.
Right. But maybe that's it. I don't know.
Could be.
Just talking about now, I want to leave the warehouse as soon as we're done and just go
shopping. Come on, let's go to Family Dollar, everybody. I've already put 3 on my map today.
I think for me, what it is, I did get to a point where I had a routine, kind of. I knew people. I know from talking to Dave, you're there, but I knew managers. Like there was one store that I literally a $250 drop on pizza, wings, and salads for the whole store. Nice. I would do that. Another one, I would give them gift cards let them pick. I ask them, where's your favorite pizza place or something, and they'll come up 3 different names. So I bought them 3 different gift cards and let them throw a pizza party or something for the staff. I just don't do that like I used to. I've lost one of my best connections. He promoted onto like a regional manager level, and then I haven't spent because I'm not doing as much time doing RAs I used to. But I think it's an what's the word I want to look for? It's under recognized business model that is. Some people say it's not scalable. Dave,
when you do it that way, yeah. What was your biggest purchase order at a retail store then? Like you're dropping hundreds of thousands or what?
I've dropped thousands.
Yeah. No, I have one in particular. That I've repeated over and over again at the 25,000-30,000 mark.
Yeah.
Now that's a special one. It's like it's a one-off. I don't want you to think it's like that for everyone. It's one that but again, it's that relationship that Joe's talking about. A relationship with the manager, same thing. Buying gift cards for the store, bringing in Christmas gifts. I mean, it is there, and I tip them for helping me load. the U-Haul that I bring.
Nice.
So you asking about them, like what manager just had surgery. I'm calling her, checking in, see if she needs anything. It's like anything else in any other business. It just comes down
Sales,
to it comes down to relationships, right? So, but it just depends. I think a lot depends on who the personnel. I mean, who the managers are, because the exact same store, down the road, they won't play ball at all, right? They just, almost wear it like a badge of honor that they won't sell to Amazon sellers. And so it's like,
yeah,
you just got to keep plugging away. And so for them, I don't do any business with them. And the other store that she loves it. I mean, she's the number one store in the country for her, for that business.
Region.
Yeah. And so the number one store in the country it's because she sells to bulk buyers and Amazon sellers, and they don't have a problem with it because she's crushing it, So it's like,
good for her.
Yeah. So it's been good.
Yeah, I think too is like you talk about the different managers or employees. You gotta check back and forth at different times because they will change, they will move. So reopening that door just because it's closed today, don't
get discouraged.
In fact, yesterday I drove by the store where I used to have such a great relationship with the GM, and I don't with the new one because I don't. And I really the magnet was pulling me towards the store to go in and say hello yesterday, and I know they're not there on Sundays, and it's tough because that store was really good to me, like really good to me. That GM would hit me with their email with their list of everything that's going to come up on their. I used to call it the do not resuscitate list. But they call it the do not stock or restock list. I get the printout of every item that was coming up. And sometimes we're talking $50,000 worth of inventory that we can buy for pennies on the dollar. He'd give me the first shot at it. And, I would go in there and clean up on appliances, vacuums. I know one night, it was a Friday night, my buddy and I were sitting at a local, adult refreshment spot, having a couple drinks, and my phone goes off and it's the GM. He's like, "Hey, we're closing up in 40 minutes, but I got some stuff I think's right up your alley. Can you get here now?" And I'm like, "What are you talking?" He sends me pictures of power tools, like good power tools. And he's like, "Come get them now. You will not beat the price. I want them gone." And we drove there in my buddy's truck. I didn't even have a big car. We had a small car. We loaded the back of his truck. I mean, over the top. It was like $5,000 or $4,800, the equivalent of over $10,000 in retail. Brand new power tools.
It's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. You talk about taglines, Joe. I use this all the time, but you said it's not scalable. I tell everybody it is scalable. It's probably not sustainable, right? That's the way I look at it. Because it is in certain niches, but like the grind of it can wear on you. You know what I mean? Just at some point you'd run out of time. So you can scale it. It's just hard to stay at that same level month over month. Just based on hours in the day. I mean that's the problem is time. There's plenty of opportunity. That's for sure.
Yeah, but it's you guys are creating these relationships with these managers or store owners, staff, personnel, the same as we are doing, like when we pivoted it into wholesale. It's the same type of relationship that we're trying to create with the distributor. So we're the first person that they call when they receive that new fresh inventory, and they're like, "Hey, okay, I've got this, place an order." So it's I get it. I see it's one and the same.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I told Brian yesterday, he and I were talking, the big one that I was telling you about, my best store. Yeah. She actually has a credit card of mine. She keeps in the safe, and I that's that kind of relationship where I trust her. So if there's something great, she sends me the list.
You can't make it. She just charges you.
Yeah. She'll run because you can't do it online. They're not set up for that. So she'll just keep the card on file and she'll just swipe it for me, and I want to buy it, and then I'll come pick it up. She'll send me a list of the sale usually on Sunday. The sale goes live either Thursday or Friday of that week. And as soon as it does, she'll swipe my credit card, and then I'll pull a U-Haul around. That's kind of been the
genius
deal. But yeah,
I got a safe here in the warehouse if you want to send another card over. Right?
I got a safe too. I think we all do, right?
I know, right? I know. It's probably. I mean, I don't know. It's probably dumb of me, but who knows? It's worked so far. Knock on wood.
No, I mean you can call your credit card company and say,
Yeah,
there are
exactly.
ways around that.
Right, for
But
sure.
you guys have built that relationship. That's cool.
Yeah.
You put your time in.
Yeah, it's been good.
So Sawyer just hit me up. He's going to try to bounce in if he can. He's running some errands. So if we stay, might be.
I feel
closer
like I
to
should
12.
try to turn and rejoin to see if I get my video
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Go
Okay.
for it.
All right. I'll be right back.
All right.
Hey, Dave, I got a quick question for you. So I think it would be pretty interesting to talk about. How do you approach that initial approach when you're going into an RA store that you're like, man, this could be a good opportunity? Like,
Yeah,
how do you go in and don't scare them off? You know what I mean?
Right.
Go to a
No,
manager, like,
Right. I think that's a really good question. For me, I wouldn't put all your cards on the table day one, right?
Right.
You go in there, you show that you're serious because you're buying in bulk. Inevitably, they're going to ask some questions if it's a ton of stuff, right? And then, you just strike up a conversation like anything else, start building that relationship. But I wouldn't push it too hard on, first couple of times. Just keep showing up and just keep buying, right? Now all of a sudden that opens doors like, hey, would this help? Usually they offer, right? At that point, you've been good to them, super polite. I'll tell you this, I don't know why, and this kind of is disappointing for the community at whole, but you guys tell me if you've gotten this feedback, but I've gotten feedback from like, hey, you're one of the nicest, and I'm not a nice guy, by the way. I'm not really that great, but they say like, you're one of the nicest or the nicest like reseller we deal with. Like for some reason, there's this like false bravado, there's this like arrogance to it, and I think it gets turned off a lot of places. I just go in there and just be a normal person. Like I'm looking to help their business, right? So at the end of the day, I'm appreciative that they work hard. I have a soft spot for people who are in, sort of blue collar type jobs that work hard and take care of their family, and I really love that stuff. So it's genuine. I play into that, but not because it's transactional. I genuinely love that stuff, right? People just work hard. And so I take an interest, ask questions about them personally. And again, I know it's repetitive, but it really is about that relationship. Like truly, I'm looking at the relationship like, hey, seems like a cool person. They work hard. If something comes from this, great. If it doesn't, I've met a really nice person that, I can, I don't know, another cool person, right? That's it to me. So yeah, to answer, kind of tie a bow on that answer, it really to me is just start off just building a genuine relationship and looking at it like, hey, even if I get nothing from this, it was really cool to meet this person and find out a little bit more about them. And then if something transpires, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I think that people make the mistake of walking in there and being like, hey, can you send me a list? Email me this, dude. It's like, whoa, buddy, I don't even know who you are. You could be some scam artist. But all of a sudden, I have a 5-year-old daughter. I have brought her in the store. That shows like to them, all of a sudden she's given, my daughter now walks into the store I was talking about and she's getting snacks from them. She's in the back room. I mean, it's ridiculous. I agree. She's like family, you know what I mean? She's giving away little toys. And just show that people that you're human and that you're there to, that you've got a small business yourself. And I think they appreciate that. So yeah, that's a really good question though.
I just always go in and buy. I always buy first. I don't even with different wholesales and brands I worked with. I always place a couple orders or kind of have a feel for the stuff first. I've very seldom ever walked into a place and just been like, hey, but I typically am very straightforward with sometimes a plot twist. So yesterday there was a place I was going to that Brian kind of turned me onto a little bit up here in New York. And was concerned because going to be buying good volume from them. So I just they're like, so what are you doing with all this stuff? And I said, well, I said, we bundle it up. We package it with other similar items. We sell it. Sometimes we give some stuff to raffles, which I do. I donate stuff to like local charities. A lot of my, inventory starts off. Sometimes I donate dead inventory, but then it turns into Christmas time. I was giving away toys off the shelf, like for different things. So yeah, we basically, we take the product, we resell it. It is a lack of, and they're like, oh, that's really cool. And so I got that was yesterday because it fit the scenario because that's what we are doing. We're packaging it up and bundling it and doing different things, or that's the plans for that item. But a lot of the stores, they just tell them straight up, here's what I do. And be respectful. Like when I'm in the store, I put stuff back. I don't make a mess of the shelves. Like if I see something fall over, like I've seen managers catch me like fixing a pallet before, and they're like, hey, I've helped them unload stuff.
That's key, Joe. I agree.
Yeah.
That's huge. I can't tell you how many Walmart clearance aisles that I'll also be like super complimentary of the person, because there's always like one person in charge of that aisle. And I'll always be like, listen, this is the most organized clearance aisle I've ever seen. I've been to almost every Walmart in the country. I'm exaggerating, but I'm like, I've been to every single one. You have the best one I've ever seen. And they're like, wow, thank you so much. I was like, listen, if I'm looking at stuff, I promise you I'll put exactly back exactly where you had it. I said, because I know how much work this is. And then that strikes up a conversation. I've had times in Walmart clearance aisles where they'll all of a sudden be like, you know what, I can discount that more, and I'm like,
That's
oh,
great.
awesome. Like, great. Like, yeah, we want to get rid of these. And then so she'll just start putting tags for me right there, like, based on that conversation. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm weird, but I'll have those conversations. But again, I'm doing it because like, I like people that just go into work and work hard. I think I've always been that way, the business aside. I just have an appreciation for it as opposed to people who just mooch off of anyway, that's a whole, I don't want to go on that rant. It's probably not the platform to me, go like those scumbags that are squatting in houses and stealing and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, that's I'll end it there.
Easy.
Sorry, I know. But there's nothing worse to me than someone who won't work. It's the worst. So when I see people busting their tail at a Walmart clearance aisle, I'm like, man, it's awesome. Like, and strike up a conversation. So
we got another question from over on Instagram. Jojo, how much capital did you start with? I feel most sellers lie about starting capital. Yeah, I mean, for myself, I kind of was fortunate. I had money in the bank. And so I had money to start with. And what that dollar amount was, well over 5,000 to start with for this. There's Rebecca. I think she's back in with the camera this time. Hold on. So I was fortunate. I dedicated an account. My first account had quite a bit in it to start with. I mean, I think I was upwards of 20K is what I had in an account. That doesn't mean I used it all. We have cents. I'm still spending a decent amount to grow. So that doesn't end. And just fortunately enough, I had more to spend. But yeah, there's that. Hey, Rebecca, welcome back. Nice to see you on camera.
Hi.
Hey, she's alive. But yeah, anybody else?
Yeah, I started. So I was running like my sneaker reselling business at the time. So I was doing StockX, eBay, and Go, which was probably like $20,000 worth of inventory. I allocated $3,000 for Amazon. I was like, if this works out, I'll start liquidating the other business and I'll put more money into this. And that's what happened over the next 6 months. So my answer is probably over like 15K.
So my response to that question is probably a little bit shocking for everybody. And I'll be super, 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 super honest. I had no idea what I was doing and I had no money. I had just had nothing to start with.
Mhm.
So I want to say like my budget was $500, and that's for software, for a printer, for labels, for bubble wrap, for packaging, and inventory. Like $500. It's really, 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 really slow to start when you have no money to play with. But once it starts going, you just keep reinvesting,
Yep.
and eat top ramen and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And here we are. I'm not nowhere in the 7-figure range yet. Like I said, it's still been kind of like a slow uphill battle, but I'm sticking it out.
no,
I'm
respect.
happy.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Thanks.
Sometimes you sell ramen, sometimes you eat ramen.
Yeah.
Hey, it's good both ways.
We've all been there.
My store is
Yeah,
always
oh, yeah.
sold out, so I think everybody is eating ramen, not just me.
Brian?
So for me, I actually, before I even learned about Amazon, I started watching people on YouTube for like thrifting, and I was going to like yard sales, going to estate sales and thrift stores, and that's how I started. I was buying really, really cheap stuff, and then turning around selling it on eBay, and Poshmark a little bit at the time, but I kind of eventually stopped doing Poshmark because their algorithm changed and it got really slow on sales. So I just kind of was just doing eBay, and then I learned about Amazon. And so I had a little bit of money built up from that, but it wasn't a ton of money. It was maybe $2,000 or $3,000 that I had just kind of earned over a couple years of just kind of casually doing eBay for fun. And I was honestly even selling random stuff around the house that I needed to get rid of. So that was a great way to get a little bit of starting capital too. And I know a lot of people actually will start out in like textbooks and stuff like that, where you'll go to thrift stores and you'll buy
Yep.
tons of textbooks, because those, when you go to a thrift store, they're stupid cheap. And then you
50
can turn
cents.
around and sell them for pretty high profit margin. So if you need some starting capital, I would highly recommend looking up some YouTube videos on like textbook and book flipping, just to get some starting money. And then that's whenever you can really take it and go after it. And once I got out of that whole eBay thing, long story short, I put in $10,000 of our own money from my wife and I. So I didn't start with an insignificant amount of money, but I did start before I put that $10,000 in. I spent 1 year learning Amazon with all the money that I had earned myself from eBay and stuff like
Right.
that. I did not just go throw a ton of money into it. And I think that was 100% the right decision to make, because you can get yourself in trouble real quick if you don't know what you're doing and you haven't learned the ropes and you decide to throw a bunch of money at stuff. So
Yeah.
Yep.
that's what I think.
Yeah, for me, it was a probably pretty unique situation. A couple of you on here know, but my former life, I was a head football coach here in Texas, and it's a long story I won't get into, but they asked me to resign, but they still paid me for 8 months. That's the world of so I said, sure. You want me to pay me handsomely to do absolutely nothing? Yeah, that sounds great. And so I just kind of had working capital. I just kind of dove into this head first. To be fair, that's probably why I was able to have some losses and some bad buys early on, kind of light some money on fire, unfortunately. And so for me, that I just had that income coming in. I just used it towards starting the business. So it wasn't a set like nest egg. It was just kind of reoccurring based on that. So yeah.
Joe, we lost you. I think you might be muted.
You're muted, Joe.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Sorry about that. Sorry, trying to. They're snow plowing my parking lot right now at the warehouse, so it's very loud in the background. And I'm
Horrible.
watching on the security camera to see if they whack my 2014 Lamborghini that represents as a Ford Explorer. So
Formerly known as.
formerly known as. But so, what do you guys got going on for the week? What's an up and coming for y'all?
I'm excited because I have a call tomorrow with my new distributor. It's a new relationship. And we're going to go over the details of a program that they're launching. And I'm excited to hopefully come back next week and share it with everybody.
Let's go. Get it done.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That and some RA stuff, because I'm trying to contribute to the Bolo group that I joined. So I'm just out running around like a chicken with no head, and I found a couple things, but I'm like, these are not like Bolos. I want to get excited when some people drop in like 200% ROI, and I'm over here like, well, this is like 29, 30 if you work it the right way. So I'm really trying to clean up in that space and get some good stuff to share with my group, because we pay to be in there.
Gotta pay to play.
Yeah, pay to play. I'm okay with it.
Sadiq, Brian?
I'm just sourcing a lot more. I want to beat my March numbers next month, though. I'm just, doing a ton of sourcing. And that's really it.
Yeah, good for you, man. Yeah, you're kidding. Brian, I know some of what you got going on because I'm involved in it with you. So.
We got a whole bunch going on, honestly. Trying to get towards launching brand for the first time. Got to get a brand registry going.
For our own trademark. For our own
registries
for us.
Yep.
So Brian and I got our own trademark. it's pretty unique. It's
Yeah, I'm
pretty
excited
it's
about
pretty
that.
crafty. It's pretty crafty.
Yeah, I would agree. But yeah, I honestly, I probably should stop spending money for a bit. After ASD, we went a little bit crazy on an order, and I'm a bit over leveraged right now. So to be honest, I probably should focus more on just getting things organized and deciding what exactly should be my next steps on everything, and making sure that we get some stuff moving into Amazon so I can get that money back.
This is coming from the guy at 12 o'clock last night was like, dude, go to this website right now. And we dropped like $2,000 or $3,000 at least. Yeah. Like, so we got to really slow down, but right now, go buy this right now. 40 units at 2,000.
It's addicting, right? I'm not the only one. That's like, it's the whole, I got a deal.
There's no question. You never want to turn one down ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, sometimes you have to, because you're just like, oh, I don't have the money right.
Well,
but then that's when you drop it into the group and you're like, hey, I can't do this, but someone else please do.
Yep.
You know, what I was going to say to that is, I don't care what model you're doing. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong, please, on this, but I don't care if it's RA, OA, wholesale, whatever it is. Once you, there's a point where you just kind of get over this hump where you will find more than you can pretty much
then you can buy. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it almost like, I know when we were in the Discord last night hanging out, you don't want to be the guy that says it, but it's like, I got more shit than I can buy right now. It just like, you know, and it's sometimes it just takes that one contact that you made, or that, you know, one phone call, or that one Discord group chat where you connect with somebody. Next thing you know, you're like, oh crap. And it just opens up a floodgate for you. And it's so cool, but because it happens, and I think it's different for everyone. So not getting discouraged is probably the hardest thing. Cause sometimes, you know, like learning how to use Discord for me took way longer than most people. Right. But, and I still don't know what I'm doing, but same thing, even with RA,
you can be more selective. Like, you get to that point where you can say, well, you know what, the rank's not good for me.
Pass up on a deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The biggest thing for me, as I look for red flags for IP complaints, because I was sort of reckless. I'm not sort of, I was reckless when it came to that early on. And just be like, oh, whatever, who cares? Just don't worry about it. You know, just completely, I was an idiot. I had no idea what I was doing. So consequently, my account was shut down, and I had to deal with that and spent a lot of money to fix it and all of that. And so now that is my, like, I will, if it's even like, if the brand sells it, like their name, I'm out. I won't even, I mean, I don't care what else it says. I just don't want to mess with it. So,
yeah.
But the turning those things down, I actually feel kind of good, because you know there's going to be other opportunity. Whereas in the past, when you're first starting out, you're just like, give me anything I can. Like, you know, yes, this is a risk, but I might make a sale, right? So that's just that shift in mindset is huge. For me this week, I've got some all kinds of things going on. There are some RA things, but I also, from ASD, I've got a couple sort of wholesale, but like liquidation type things, where I feel like, you know, you can trace it back to where the invoices are okay. My problem is, on a couple of them, I think I'm going to get, I don't know how much buy box share I'm going to get. I mean, it says there's a little bit with, but Amazon is crushing some of these things. Now I can undercut them and still make a profit, but as we all know here, that doesn't mean that they're going to share it, even if you undercut them. So I'm really nervous as those things get checked in over the next couple of weeks. I'll keep everyone posted that it's just going to sit there.
You already pulled the trigger knowing that was the.
Yeah, I made him. I'm an idiot. I made a mistake, and on a couple of them, I thought I just it was in the moment. I was excited. It was such a great, like, I'm like, look at the rank, look at this, and I thought I had everything down, and then I didn't. So we'll see how it goes.
I think a couple of us in here have similar stories to tell.
Yeah. So my hope is that I can undercut them enough and still make a profit. I'm hoping that'll get me some buy box share just by sheer price, but I don't know. We'll see.
So you sent them all in. You didn't.
No, well, they're at one of actually the main one I'm talking about. The pallet arrives to the prep center I have on Monday, and then there's another one that they're sending directly to Amazon. They're in the process of that right now. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, at least I know it sells. I'm not gonna have an IP complaint. It just might be a little bit slower with Amazon
Yeah.
dominating it. So it is.
No,
what it
and that's something I don't think a lot of people know is if you undercut Amazon just by a little bit, depending on the listing and the velocity, obviously, right? You're going to be able to get sales. I've sold thousands and thousands and thousands of shoes with Amazon on it, and all I have to do is just drop the price by maybe $1 or whatever, and it's shoes, so I'm still profitable even with $1 less.
Good to know. Good to
Oh,
know.
it is good to know. That's encouraging, man. Sadiq, you helped me.
You're-
You helped me sleep tonight. Thank you.
No, you're going to be fine as long as you're competitive compared to other people. Because I've also sold on listings where it's 99% buy box share, 100% buy box share of Amazon. You're going to be fine as long as you have the good price.
Awesome. Thank you. That's
Yep.
good.
Yeah, we got a couple things, and I was gonna say for me, I always look at 5%. I try to beat Amazon by 5%. That's kind of my rule of thumb internally.
Okay.
That's what I've always tried to. If I can be on 5% less and profitable, I will risk it, especially looking at the history. And I'll tell you what, I'm a big fan. I know if you guys use SellerAmp, I love the new little graph, the pie chart they put in.
Yes,
like
that deters me from so many purchases.
Yeah.
Now when I look
really
at it,
clever.
I'm like, oh, never mind.
What is it? I'm sorry, I missed you. What would you say?
So in SellerAmp now they put like a pie chart that breaks down the buy box rotation.
Gotcha.
And it also shows you can look up how, because I do a lot of FBM, so it shows you if FBM is getting the buy box. So you can choose like whether you see who sold it, and it'll say FBA or FBM, and so I'll know like, okay, FBM is actually winning the buy box, so I can jump on that listing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Melinda, hello, Melinda. She's messaging in, homesick, still not feeling well, still under the weather. We hope you feel better before Melinda's heading overseas for a while. So we hope you're feeling better before that trip. And she wants to know, we're in Q1. What is one win and one loss that you've learned, or what you've learned? Give you a moment to think about that.
For me, my win this month was, it happened yesterday, actually. I made my first sale on Walmart. Yay!
Nice. Yeah, round of applause. Woo!
And I had no idea that I sold anything because my notifications were not on. I didn't even know that was a thing. I was like, oh, is there an app? Is there what happens here? So I logged in. Just so happens that I logged in at the right time and I found out that I made a sale. So
yeah, that's
and
awesome.
Then I immediately went to the group and was like, hey guys, is there an app or a notification setting that I'm not aware of?
Yeah, and I use I get the email notifications for there. It seems
I did that too. Well, Tracy had shared with me that there's a seller I think it's called Sellergrate.
It's like SELLEGR8.
8, right? And then it gives you a notification on Slack. So it looks like there's a little bit of a workaround. So I'm gonna go ahead and play with that later. But as far as the loss for me is just because it's been, for me, I decided to liquidate all my inventory, my OA inventory, so I could jump into wholesale to take that capital. So it's just been super slow for me. And in this time where it's been really, really slow, I learned that I have, what is it, like shiny object syndrome? So where you, and I tend to get curious about other things and fall down other rabbit holes. So I'm like thinking about all these other businesses that I can start, and I'm trying to keep myself focused and just stay here. So the community is keeping me alive and motivated right now because it's just so slow for me.
That's good stuff. Yeah, shiny object syndrome is very hard for a person like myself as well. It's bad. I fight hard, and I'm not as fluent and as fast in some stuff. So like I'll be working with Brian on something online, and he's 4 steps ahead of me because he's just more proficient. And I'm like, no, stop.
Let me catch up.
Let me catch up with you. I got to work on this one item. Yeah. But I totally get shiny object syndrome. But anyone else?
Yeah, one loss for this month or this quarter, I guess, I'm just liquidating a bunch of stale inventory I have. I'd rather just have the money back, put it into better buys. Like you want your cash flow to be as perfect as possible. And that's what I'm working on now. So I have a ton of money to spend for next month and for the end of this month, just because I've been liquidating all like month of some stale inventory. It wasn't a ton, but I'd rather just have the capital back to, deploy again. And then one win, I'm having a good month right now. So
Do you see me pointing? And you can kind of see what's back on that shelf, right? There's
we
a
all
wall
know
of
what that
Stanleys.
is.
There's a wall of Stanleys back there.
Yeah.
Hey, Sadiq, if you don't, I'm sorry. Do you mind? Are you liquidating? If you don't have to share if you don't want to, but Walmart, Amazon, eBay, what's your method on those?
Yeah,
eBay for a friend.
eBay and Mercari for like my shoe returns or whatever. You need decent processes just to be able to sell shoes or focus on like a really high ROI, just so you're getting all the profit you're supposed to, And then, I mean, for like things in my storefront that's not moving as quickly as I wanted to, I just drop the price and just get the money back.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say my loss, the same thing. I'm liquidating, but on Amazon, just trying to get cash back for some of these wholesale opportunities, and then for a win, mine's a little unique. I actually just yesterday I have a mom and pop type prep center locally, really small operation, but it's personal, and so I'm actually going to switch all my returns to them, and they're going to sell them on whatever platform they want. If it's new, which is rare, right? It comes back pristine. They'll put it back into my inventory on Amazon, but otherwise they're just going to sell it whatever platform they want, and we're just going to do a kind of a rev share on it. Just give her a percentage for selling it, and so that way I don't have to deal with any returns. I'm trying to open the door with 17 things on the front porch of my house. Like I'm good. So I just I don't want to deal with it. I really don't. So that's me, my thing.
Yeah, my prep center recently introduced that as well. And then as I'm scaling up with more volume and more units, it's going to be a pain to just do all the eBay and Mercari. So I'm just going to have them take care of it as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then it's interesting because the way they have it set up too is all I have to do is make like the Mercari or the eBay or choose whatever platform I want, make the listing, and then whenever it sells, I just let them know, and they'll just treat it like an FBM and they'll just ship it to the customer, and I'm only charged like a couple bucks. So it's awesome. Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah.
So you're doing all the work for that. I mean, you're creating the listing, posting it there, and then they're just acting. So, okay. That's something we've explored here for the warehouse as a separate business model, is handling dead inventory for folks right out of here. So we have someone that we've been talking to that gets really high-end items, damaged boxes. They're a rep for a big company, but they also do a lot of e-commerce.
Yep.
Part of a different group I'm in, and they were talking about these piles of good dead inventory, scratched, dented. So we've potentially toyed around the idea of bringing that stuff in here and then offering it for other sellers. But I don't think we would handle it in a different way, because I have some liquidators in my network that we can shop. So it'd be done a little differently, where we take all the burden off of the seller, basically. But it would obviously be at a higher rate. So you're going to lose a little more, or pay a little for it. Brian?
Oh, you're muted.
There we go. So I would say loss. This product I was selling took off like crazy. I kind of expected it to, but I didn't prepare, and everyone on the listing sold out, and it went insane. And now I'm kicking myself right now
that you didn't buy enough.
Picking up 500 more tomorrow or Monday, but I'm like, man, if I would have just kept the stock going, I would be killing it right now. And so I'm kicking myself so much for that. And what I'm learning from that is that I need to be paying way more attention to my item velocity, using like seller board, and making sure that I'm keeping things in stock that represents the actual sales velocity I'm getting, and I need to be regularly checking up on
Hey, Brian, I might know a guy that went and bought some of that stuff yesterday.
Yeah, I might too.
Would that be you, Joe?
Yeah. But yeah, so I was kicking myself on that one, not gonna lie. And then when I would say going to ASD in general is probably going to completely change everything I do and for the better.
Nice.
Because all the opportunities like we were just talking about, you don't have enough money to buy everything there. Like there is so much opportunity, it's insane. And then in addition to that, the connections we made there, like Dave and Rebecca, I never would have met you guys like if I hadn't gone to ASD. So one, the connections are just crazy and people that we can collaborate with and work with. And then two, you know, I'm never going to have enough money to buy everything that I got connections from at ASD. So I think that was the biggest win for this year.
Yeah, that's big time. Hey, I'm gonna hop off. I just wanted to say bye. I'm taking my daughter an Easter egg hunt here at TCU. So go Frogs. I will I'll talk to you guys. I really appreciate you having me on. I just so you know, every time I listen to you guys, whether it's a phone conversation or through here, I learn a ton, and I'm super grateful for that. So thank you.
It's great having you.
Dave, thanks, buddy. Yeah,
have a good one.
I'm gonna. Yeah, we got a couple. I'm just gonna maybe we'll round it out here in a couple more minutes. I think one of our Instagram feeds dropped off because it's been an hour, Brian. So I think we lost it anyways.
They're tired of us.
Yeah, they're tired of us, and so I just I knew Sawyer was gonna try to make it, so I just hit him up. I told him I'd try to give it a couple more minutes, but I haven't heard back. So, any last minute questions we have on here, I'd like to try to make sure we get them. George was asking if I think to you, Rebecca, what Bolo group, if willing to share.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you meet George in Vegas?
I don't think so. Was he at your meetup?
Yep. Yeah, he was at the meet. So George, meet Rebecca. Rebecca, meet George. You both.
Hi, George.
Las Vegas residents.
Oh, most likely then yeah, I think so. Because I met a few other Vegas people there.
Yep.
So
okay.
Good morning. For me, the Bolo group that I'm in is from Nikki Kirk. So Nikki Kirk is also an online YouTube content creator. She does RA. She's awesome. And I'm not sure if she's still having the sale, but she does like a birthday sale. So it was, I want to say 35% off the rate for the lifetime of your membership. So if you pay up every month, then you get a good rate. And then if you you just have to share their parameters, right? So you have to share every month to be a part of the group, and you just have to be participative. So
that's nice.
Is that a word?
Cool.
Participative?
Participation. Absolutely, it is.
So yeah,
all
I think
right,
I think it's called Your Selling Guide is her handle.
And George did say he's already in the group, so he said thank you. He's
hey George, see you there.
So the one other comment from the other side was JoJo would I wish there was a contact button for price tankers. Hey, maybe that's a new thing of software we can have someone write, right? Like an add-on Chrome extension where you can identify
a shaming add-on.
Shames
them.
Shaming. Yeah, when we have our own emojis that you could like shame them with, like shaming emojis or something. We're on to something, Brian. This is
report them off of the listing.
Yeah. Hey, Sadiq, I wanted to share your new Discord that you're, and I don't know if I copy and pasted it. I don't know if that comes up as a live link or not. So
where would it be?
Yeah, I put it in the chat in the beginning here, and I don't know if it comes through properly. I apologize. So
no, yeah, all good.
Fair.
I got Sawyer in he's gonna be the first guest speaker tomorrow.
Yeah, Monday, right? Tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah. Can't wait to be there. Oh, thanks for doing that. Whoever posted that. Hopefully that works. All right. Well, that's it. We're kind of at an hour. I think we're even a couple minutes over. I really appreciate you all coming. Rebecca, getting your camera working. This week it wasn't me. My tech was good. That's a win. So you guys have a great week. Sadiq, I'll jump in tomorrow. Can't wait to hear what our friend Sawyer has to say. And thank you all. we'll see you. So listen, I think next Sunday we've been talking about moving this to a later hour to make it easier on our West Coast friends. So we'll probably put out some new posts and times for that. And hopefully catch up with you all. Same channel, different time.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. See y'all.
Bye.
Yeah.
Good day.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.